This is your daily market recap for Tuesday, October 18th, 2022. Let's go.
Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well.
And Max CDXP Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is your live daily market recap for Tuesday, October 18th, 2022. Hopefully you're doing well. Surviving as we expected. The market is looking to squeeze the bears. There are a lot of circumstances that we reviewed over the last, 10 days that led to this. We're going to review them again. We're going to show you guys why the evidence matters and just try to stay on top of what's going on, because I think a lot of people think the world was going to end and the market was going to dump. But the problem is the market makers weren't going to allow that to happen at this point with the amount of puts outstanding, the huge ES shorts, and want to show you folks a few charts of things that I've been paying attention to. It's on my Twitter account if you're not following. You can see it's right there. That's what it looks like. It's interesting that NDX put call ratio, I don't remember a higher level in the last, obviously you can see not anytime recently. So, that's just something I'm paying attention to. There's way too many puts out there. Talked about this, if the market's out of position, 2008 and then the Great Depression had some of the biggest counter one-day rallies in the markets. Now, again, I don't know if we'll have one of those kind of situations, but I'm not surprised if the market does that kind of rally, 10%. Expectations are pretty junky. And then this is the last thing that I was trying to put in perspective for some folks. Look at the number of cash percentage level. 6% plus is usually a high level of cash for investors. Now, it sounds kind of crazy. It's not that high when you think about the perspective of it. But this has tended to lead to rallies, even at worst near term, in these oversold positions. Again, the evidence was pointing the picture. The market makers are not going to give the bears an easy W, just like we talked about the VIX repeating pattern of 2008. Let me see if I have it on here. Again, love the super cycle that's coming up with commodities. Let me see if I can find it. I don't have it on here at the moment. Maybe it's on the Discord. There's too much stuff on the Discord room. But maybe I'll be able to find it. I apologize. I should have done that earlier. Mic check, though. People are listening. If they can confirm, we're good to go. There's that cash level. Talked about that. But, yeah, anyway, whatever. Just another chart, another interesting fact to pay attention to. Let's see if I can find it. Come on. It's got to be here somewhere. Oh, well. All right. Took on some oil trades today. Kept on commodity stuff. Again, just not really. It's just amazing to me, sentiment, how out of whack it gets, and then the market. Here we go. This was talking about the VIX in 2008 to 2022. We had this pullback before the big smash. What do we need to go higher? Commodities. Talked about it. Let's get into the charts. Let's get into the goods. Bitcoin, I've said, it's not really bearish, not really bullish. We'll see. I'm in the opinion of just like gold, certain miners, certain stocks. I have no desire of going long them or shorting them. They're just dead money. So at this point with Bitcoin, if you're bullish, be careful. If you're bearish, be careful. Nat gas, talked about it. Once it broke the mid sixes, you had to go. Some people capitulated today. I don't know what you're waiting for. Maybe you're praying. I don't know. I'm not a big prayer guy when it comes to the market. I feel like if there was a higher being out there, he's got other prayers to answer than us gamblers. Oil. Talked about it, buying it today. I said, watch this 82, 83 area. Wouldn't be surprised if there's a wick. They're talking about releasing more oil from the SPR, just as OPEC is about to cut more. This is a dangerous game of chicken. Thank you, Shannon, for confirming. I hear you. Yeah, ugly situation to be in. I don't think it leads to oil smashing. If anything, watch the levels. Keep it very simple. I've said this a billion times. If the feds are going to get tighter and raise rates more and you want to see a bigger market smash later, you need to see commodities rise. Potentially left shoulder, right shoulder, head. That's how I think of it. Let's get into This is the charts. I apologize. I had it all opened up and then I closed it all. Is what it is. Oh, hey there. Oh, hey, pups. Good dog. Miss that guy a lot. The dollar below the 20-day. We said lower highs, not bearish. Talked about this last week. If the dollar is going to peel below the 20-day, it seems the 50-day is support. I still wouldn't be surprised if you tested the, I don't know, low 20s. Just keep that in mind. I know a lot of people have this like big opinion on some sort of dollar smash or dollar whatever. Again, we said this 1,000 times. The up move will be take your breath away how high the dollar can go when it's at the top. I just don't think we're there yet. Bonds said this. The market could be okay if stabilized. We talked about what? The monthly? And the monthly said, yeah, you're probably there. Some people are like, oh, should I take a stab at it? I see it. I see you. I don't know. I don't think bonds are ready yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if they bounce, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they just went nowhere. The VIX, oh man, if we can get this thing under 30, sayonara, because the 20-day, and then first support would be at 28, which it might cut through like butter. Thinking maybe the moving average cross or somehow fill the gap. That would be nuts, but that would not be surprising to me because we know the market plays games. I mean, you got to give bears a reason to capitulate, and what's the best advertisement for higher prices? It's always higher prices. Get the market out of position, get it rallying, get all that cash that's sitting on the sidelines, get all those puts, get all the ES futures, get everything unwound, and then you know how it rolls. SPY. Gap up today, added on the 20-day. People are like, you're crazy, man. I'm like, I don't think this is a one-day event. You got over the 20-day. This is a bear trap. Take notes. When you have bear traps, they don't just last one day. Even this up here, this was a nice bear trap, rallied up, right? I still think we're in a position where, I've said this many times, I think we're in this May kind of counter trend rally because you drop 80 points, you pop. Here's that first leg. We should definitely go higher than this leg here at 380. That's why I keep saying I think 390 would make total sense, and then maybe a chop top, worst case scenario. But you never know. I mean, there's a lot of cash on the sidelines, a lot of shorts. If you think it could be vicious down here at the lows, don't be surprised if it's vicious at the highs. Remember, bear markets are meant to take the most amount of money from the most amount of people even quicker than a regular market is. So at this point, you got to be very careful. Raise your stops. Now, again, don't be like stupid bullish. When I say stupid bullish, just like you can't be wrong kind of thing. Be defensive. Raise your stops. Take profits, whatever you need to do. If you're shorter time frames, then you definitely need to be trading quickly. I still think we get there. When we get there, it might be next week, could be the end of this week. But remember, ton of puts outstanding going into OPEX. Especially there's a ton of NASDAQ puts. And not surprised today. Got over 28, pulled back. If you're watching and paying attention to Discord room, said watch the 269, 270 level. Hey, look at that. Blind squirrel finds a nut. As much as I have not always, recently haven't been perfect by any means. People are like, oh, you've been wrong lately, so I'm just going to stop listening to you. Okay, well, that's your point. You can do whatever you want. Typically, we go with the probabilities. Just sometimes the probabilities aren't in our favor. I still think 284 up to maybe all these moving averages. Keep it simple. IWM. How do you know the bear market wasn't coming? Going to continue? Because the IWM doesn't confirm it. We talked about the IWM always leading. Look at the action. It's not at the lows. I mean, it's at the lows, but not breaking the lows. Not breaking it. Nice gap over the 20-day. Gets up into the first point of control. Backs off. Not surprised. High and tight ain't bearish. Let's see what happens. Gold, just leave this crap alone. I mean, I don't know, not crap, but market's rallying and this thing's dead. Again, I think gold, the best time to buy it will probably be in December when you have tax loss selling, capitulation. Silver, same thing. I mean, everybody's like, oh, but now it should rally. Well, the dollar's dropping and this stuff isn't really acting that good. Just take it for what it is. Leave it alone. You're expecting some all of a sudden overnight reset. Well, Santa Claus hopefully will bring you your toys at some point, and I'm thinking it's more towards Christmas. GDXJ, again, I don't know why anyone would want to trade this stuff. It just looks like, it looks like tech, dead tech. Just leave it alone. GDXJ. Remember, when there is a minor, when there is a sector you want to buy, it's going to be minors. Check out the monthly. Juniors been absolutely slaughtered. I mean, I'd like the 26 level, but I wouldn't be surprised by 20. I mean, at this point, if you were buying this stuff, say your Hail Marys, pray. I just don't like to pray. I like to assume things are going to happen. It's going to move with the market. AG, I mean, I don't know why anyone would want to play this stock, but I guess you can. I mean, it's just looks like a big dead chop zone. Good luck. I mean, maybe it breaks out. Maybe I'll be wearing pie on my face, cream pie, for being wrong. It happens. AEM, we like this one when the market bottoms. Y'all see this. Y'all see this. Y'all see this. So, I mean, at this point, I think I would potentially just be in this mindset of no touch. I like it. Looks like the best. Like gold miner to me, that's above average size. I can't remember if the market cap is 10 billion or not. I'm pretty sure it is. Looks better. Volume. Newmont, on the other hand, don't like it, but you have to use it to confirm. Had volume and just can't make in lower lows. This thing could get absolutely slaughtered if the market gets smoked later and the VIX gets into the 50, 60, 11, 70 level. Yeah. So at this point, yeah. Here you go. Next one. PAAS. I mean, it's just, people are like, oh, you're going to miss the big move. And I'm like, no, I won't. It won't be that big until it is. And then when it is, we'll get on it. I promise. We'll get there. AMD. I mean, they guide down. It's at channel lows. It should technically bounce. We'll see if it does. I am under the belief that tech will lag because the news is constantly bad, but that doesn't necessarily mean it can't rally. Again, we talked about the NDX puts, all that stuff. I would look for the names that are acting better. When I say acting better, you will see certain ones look way better than other ones. And the semiconductors, personally, again, like NVIDIA, I mean, I think a chairman sold $10 million worth of shares yesterday at 120 or whatever last week. Channel lows, but this thing just looks like it's dead. But again, sometimes you got to be careful trying to short dead stocks, as Livermore would say, like, don't short a boring market. I mean, it could have a little pop in it. I personally, no interest in these names. SMH, people are like, oh, look at the Soxel. I'm telling you, when a leverage ETF gets under 10, they're trash. It needs a reverse split. Yeah, I mean, you got the signal. That should be the signal to go higher. Maybe 200, maybe one. I don't know. I struggle with these because at this point I'm like, I just feel like there's just better stuff. Such a glutton chips. And I talk about it. Once chips die, and people don't realize, once literally chips die, they become a commodity. Like, you're going to see they're going to trade just like what? Just like commodities did, and they go nowhere for a long period of time. And when I say long period of time, study your past. We'll get into it. Maybe I'll take a look at it, and we'll talk about it. Adobe came out after hours, guided the same as they've always had. And let's look at the 10-minute. Yeah, 302 after hours, back at the AM highs. At this point, I mean, I talked about it. You could have sold puts on this action when the IB was huge, because this thing has taken an absolute bath. 700 to 292. I mean, it's just like we're going to talk about like Netflix. It looks like it feels like it's going to pop. Be safe out there. Be smart. Apple, bad news comes out today, essentially saying their iPhone 14 sales are going to miss. But they've been talking about missing sales for weeks, not if months. Which, again, I'm not really long-term bullish, but this is making higher lows than some of those other names. And look what happens. It's rallying back stronger. If you want to trade tech, I think you trade Apple. I mean, as one of your potentials, like, put it on your list. Apple looks better. Where could it get? 150, 155? I don't know. I mean, you tell me. When the market gets popping and gets stupid, levels don't sometimes matter. Sometimes maybe it's just the 200-day. Maybe it's just an exhaustion up move. I wouldn't short this stuff. Amazon, holding up better, right? Got near the range lows, held up better, pops over the 20-day. Doesn't look terrible. CRM, this one got slaughtered. And then it popped back up today. I think, did they have earnings? I can't remember. Something went on with them. think maybe just on Adobe stuff. This one's tough. It is a toughie. But you're over the 20-day. I personally just don't like my risk reward here. Like, are we going to chase it at 150, hoping it gets to 160? I don't know. I think you can find better trades out there. Googmeister, Nancy Pelosi exercised her options. Nice gap up over the 20-day. This one, tough. Tough. I mean, you could argue Wu-Tang, W bottom. But is it this kind of bottom? Because this is going to drive you crazy. Meta. Said leave this stock alone for months. It's at the channel lows, popped up the 20-day. I mean, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. I worry about names that have potential for what? Negative news and potential headlines, because they're going to get slapped again. They're just going to get slapped. Microsoft, remember, if the dollar is going down, they like that. I don't know. Wait for earnings. Potentially. NDAQ. Man, I'm slapping myself. Lupus put a bullet in my head for this one. Talked about shorting up here. Didn't take the bait. Gaps down. And now it's at channel lows. I'm hoping for the 60s. Remember, this is like the Coinbase of the NASDAQ. Because when the volume comes out of the NASDAQ and gets into, we get that commodity bull run, ain't nobody buying any NASDAQ stocks. Their volumes on their exchanges are going to go. I don't know if that sound was confirmed as not, but sounds of poo-poo. Absolute poo-poo. Now, when you look at MicroStrategy, speaking of holding up, takes a bath, 900, whatever it got up to. That's crazy. No, that was the second high, if I remember right. Correct me? Yeah, yes. 1,300. I mean, I think it's a trading stock. Bitcoin's bouncing, it's bouncing. We talked about, I mean, you could argue left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Be careful. I mean, I just wouldn't short this stuff. Netflix took a little scalp after the close. At the close, said directly in the Discord room, I said, I like stocks that are not breaking out going into earnings. They get up there and they back off, kill all the puts and calls. And I said, if you're going to take the market higher, the names like this need a rally. It comes from what? 690, 701. It's basing. We talked about it. This thing's been acting strong. Now, again, whether you like Netflix or not, who gives a crap? We're talking about making money. Making money. What happened? You gapped up, bought 50 shares just on a whim. I was like, you know what? I mean, if Apple can go up on bad news, then why can't this go up on any news? I mean, and so it got, again, I mean, let me look at the numbers. These guys, they beat by 93 cents, beat on rev, paid net ads of prior gains of 1 million, guides Q4 below consensus, revs below consensus, expect paid net ads. All right, so they under promise, over delivered. Probably for the fourth quarter. Finally, and then again, the market might like this. When companies come out and guide down after beating, they're going to go, okay, they're throwing out like the worst case scenario. Whereas we know, I personally think things will get worse if the feds keep ratcheting up rates. Cutting Netflix out of your budget seems very logical if you really needed money. I mean, how much of their programming is really that great? Dahmer, whatever the serial killer Dahmer videos, doing better than Prime's Lord of the Rings series, which I like, and HBO's not Lord of the Rings, what's the Game of Thrones prequel, which I think they're both interesting to me. They're all first seasons building. But yeah, I mean, 200-day. I'm telling you, if the market rallies, this thing could rally to 300 plus. Again, names that look better. Roblox got some good information, talking about some of their information. They had some good news. I said, not surprised. Roblox is picking up as you go back into the school year, and the school year kids are out being dragged around the state, country, overseas, wherever, to the grandparents' house. Now they're back in school, and after school, they're all hanging out playing Roblox. I've noticed that from every kid that I have friends with, or every kid that I know that I am hanging out with their parents as friends. I see this. I'm not hanging out with kids. Apologize. But you get what I'm saying here. Like, look at this action. There's your May low, June lows. Here's your base. Here you go. Could it get right back into the 50s? It could. Absolutely. And I've said this one a lot. I don't know for sure, but I suspect they're a takeout target. I don't know who's going to take them out, but somebody's going to take them out. Tesla. Somebody said they're going to short this yesterday, and I was like, all right, I wouldn't. I mean, it's holding the lows. You got earnings coming out on the close, I think, tomorrow. Yep. Holding the lows. I mean, I'm pretty sure their numbers are going to come in fine. Maybe it's the fourth quarter numbers that I think are going to get bad. I don't think the economy's like, again, technically recession, yes. End of the world recession, no. That's the problem here with this 30% down in the market. I could see it going either way at this point. But I would rather see it pop first to trap more people, because then you get the absolute wipeout. Closed all my Tesla Q. I don't have a good feeling about it. Keep in mind, this thing came from what? 413 down to 200. Feels due to bounce. Any questions about tech before I move on? Again, I'd lay off the laggards. Lay off the laggards. Said it over and over. Try to find the ones that look better. Which ones look better? The ones not below their May, June highs or lows. All right, no questions. Moving right along. All right, commodities. My favorite sector. My favorite, letter X. Talked about, I think we're in the birthing stage of a long-term bull market, but we need the wipeout in the the whole market capitulation. VIX 50 plus, minimum 50 plus. I think these names over the 20-day, I've said it, I think it probably gets up in their low 21, 22s. Okay. Nucor, be careful. They've got, what, earnings? When is that? Thursday morning. They guided down, but do they pull the same kind of crap that Adobe pulls, right? Like, they guided down, I think, here. Notice how we're right back up there. I said this, even at this double, I said, watch up for the pop up to the 120s, mid 120s. Not a bad trade if you took it. One or two people DM'd me and said, nice, very nice. W, yeah, Commodities, I like them. We like them. You like them? I like them. We like them. VALE. Again, I struggle with VALE because I know it has emerging market exposure. This action to me just screams leave it alone, but it could pop. I'm in the longer term time frame of just wait for the bottom. CCJ, vertically integrated, makes this thing a lot more interesting to me. Said yesterday, if it could get over and close over 2264, it would be bullish. Today's action, I don't know about y'all, but that looks bullish. Gapped over. Closed over. I mean, near term, maybe it fills the gap. I mean, we like uranium long term, but I just tell them, you got to be careful. Arrow, some people were like, oh, it's going higher. Again, I don't trust these cheaper stocks unless they got some sort of catalyst. But at this point, I mean, this is tough. You clearly see the point of control around the mid 11s. Anything other than that, I probably just, I don't know. Just keep it simple. I don't know. I've just got this mindset where I'll fund a modest and above average retirement at worst. Okay, somebody retired millennial. Somebody's probably chirping me about not buying paper gold or buying gold. I'm like, please don't buy paper gold. Yeah. This is tough. And it's been leading, so I would anticipate the first bounce. But again, it's choppy. Watch 1150. Very, very important. All right, our favorite ag names. Mississippi supposedly drying up. They can't get their potash down the water, the river. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. Yeah, I'm with you, Bang for Guy. I don't think there's better R&R. We talk about these names, so this looks like a bull market, right? I like these names because A, they're going to give you a lot of information about the market out there. B, big down, left shoulder, right shoulder, rallying back. Talked about need to get over the 50-day. Closed around the 20-day. Not ideal. But we'll see. I mean, again, if the market starts popping up again, I think these names will be. I mean, I would not be surprised to see this thing up $10 at some point. Mosaic acted pretty well. Got down to the range lows, gapped up today, and held up. Okay. Again, I like this stuff because, to me, safety. Safety. I don't really see much bad news out there. NTR talked about it. If you could buy it, which we did, around 80. I mean, didn't get the actual lows. I mean, sorry. But here you go. I mean, I think that's a pretty safe point. Would you not? I mean, I'm praying for this later, but not there yet. Again, these are the sectors I'm hanging out in. Do what you got to do. Physical demand at record levels, low demand for paper and gold. Yeah, of course, Mikey. Dude, I totally agree. I mean, I am part of this physical demand quandary and problem for the overall markets. I mean, I'm trying to buy as much silver and gold as I can at discounted prices, but I don't want to pay the high premiums. Went to a coin show this weekend. I mean, it was dead. The Denver coin, dead. Nobody's interested in this stuff when it comes to like going to coin shows and paying and buying like Mercury coins and crappy old coins. No one wants that stuff. It's just trash. I like the newer stuff, the newer, better looking stuff with Queen Elizabeth on it too, because I think that's going to hold value because she's passed away, unfortunately. All right, back to the stocks. I bought some. I like it down here. We'll see what happens. I mean, it's very binary. The best thing about sometimes trading stocks that you like and you think will pop, because again, this ag issue is not going away. We've got food issues everywhere. Farmers situations. I mean, whatever you want to call it. Oh, there's too much methane gas. I just let some out myself, probably. At this point, watch the levels. I mean, you try to get in at the lows, and if they pop, great. And if they don't, you're gone. Maybe tech has the best risk reward, but man, it just seems very sketchy. Very, very sketchy. All right, now we roll through that. Let me pop up an XBI real quick, because things aren't bearish. Like, right? You know, we talked about taking out the lows, methane release. No, it just doesn't look bearish though. You know what I mean? If you look at this, man, I don't know if this is the arrow. I mean, you're making higher lows. I mean, it's kind of like this pennant formation. Does it break out? Maybe, but I would think at worst, if it got up in the mid-90s, it's going to find sellers. XLF, I've said this, and I'll say it all the time. Look at the action yesterday, Monday. Look at the action Friday. I was like, this isn't bearish. This isn't bearish. Like, look at financials. The financials are holding up, which, again, was Credit Suisse not like the uh-oh moment? Well, guess what? If financials are holding up, and again, maybe it's just temporary, like, market ain't going to go lower, y'all. Look at this gap up. Still closed over the point of control here. That's interesting. Keep an eye on it. Eat bugs, Dan. No meat. Yeah. Everybody eat bugs. Bill Gates is going to own all the farmland. He's going to have control of the food supply. And everybody else just eat dirt and bugs. Morgan Stanley, I mean, I don't know what to say. There was their earnings on Friday. Retest. I mean, it feels like I'm looking at CF and like ag names and replay. Higher lows, holding up okay. Again, if you go look at the monthly, man, I almost sound like I'm making an argument for bullishness. I mean, it's holding up from the 2007 lows. I don't like financials long term, but it makes sense that people are getting in them, because if they lay off all these workers, their mortgage business slows down, but there's spreads. I mean, they're paying nothing in savings. I mean, think about who's here remembers when you could get 6-7% in your savings account. Now, good luck with that. JP Morgan, this piece of junk, I was like, this is not bullish or bearish. I'm like, things that, again, they have no buyback and this thing is screaming higher. Jamie Dimon says the market's going to correct another 20% and this thing just turns right around. Buddy pass, trap. You make a slightly lower, zing-a-bow. Then on earnings, it was like everyone's going to fail. It's like, look at this, just keeps tracking higher. Things that aren't bearish, y'all. Now, again, there will be a time to put the shorts back on, where you will put your pants on, your shorts on, whatever. but I don't want to be early. Earnings can be seasonally bullish. I talked about it. There might be a 10, 11% move up in the market. Don't get caught. First Solar, you were like, oh, you should have just held on to the short. Well, it's really hard to short the market as you think it's going higher. Now this thing is lagging. Cool. Interesting action today. I'm praying for, I'll be watching 130s, 137, 140. Tan got roasted for a little while. Look below and fail, rallying back. We'll see. ENPH, people are like, oh, you can't short this. I'm like, well, we talked about shorting it up here. And he talked about any pop. And then, again, some other people did. Congrats. Always, never jelly. Never jelly. Now it's holding the 100-day. Tempted the gap. We'll see what happens. Now, again, earnings, who knows? Look at this piece of junk. Sedge. Pray for a pop. Pray for a pop. And when I say pop, not like a soda. I'm not talking about a soda. I'm talking about... Why? No, I don't want the horizontal. Let's go to the default. Thank you. Or, sorry, the arrow. We want this. Like, pray for a pop. Show me 260s. Show me... Tell me you see that. Let's do a short. All right, let's end it on oil and gas again. We started with the futures. Put on a trade today on USO at 868. Let me break down the trade. Let me pull up the 10-minute because I think, again, the first entry I got popped off. It happens. Absolutely happens, and then got back in. If I remember right, what candle was it? Tried to get in on this candle, on this wick, and then it came back and I got stopped out. And then just said, you know what? Smallest entry, that's fine. Now, if it holds, I'm adding larger. We did. It's pretty easy. I know it's below the 20-day, but again, look at the futures. Don't really chart the USO and UNG with perfection. When in doubt, futures. Not surprised it pulls back. If you are going to believe in a bear market, absolute reaming of bulls at some point, you need oil and gas to go higher. You need to see oil and gas go higher because then the feds will accelerate the rate hikes. More rate hikes, more bearishness. Because again, I think the feds are going off the rail here. The problem is you can't raise rates to somehow produce more oil. Like this is, it's like literally the blind leading the blind. You want to get oil down, just increase domestic, supply in like 3 minutes by opening the spigots of available oil and gas that is being reserved, not SPR, which is stupid. Stupid is, stupid does. Real dumb. Nat gas. Eat bugs, Dan. Nah, we talked about it. Gap down, I got stopped out. Again, binary, sometimes that happens, but like the levels, people were puking it today. Okay, well, maybe it was waiting for this European price cap and Biden trying to buy off voters by getting the SPR. I'm telling you, it ain't going to work. Never does. You can't put a price cap on something that you need in everything. This isn't like, Staples. This is like oil and gas. Like, if you cap the price, demand ain't going to drop, and now you're going to have no supply because there's no reason for people to invest in buying or in drilling for more if they know that they're not going to get the market price. It's such bad economics. Somebody who will try to argue with me that oil and gas are not the future, so why invest in it? And it's like, well, guys, gals, whoever you are, you need a transition plan. When there's no transition plan, dangerous. Absolutely dangerous. You can't just turn off the oil spigot and go, oh, electricity. Turn on the light bulbs. No, you got to power this stuff. Obviously, everyone knows the answer. You need some sort of nuclear energy or some sort of higher energy efficiency grid. I hate talking about this stuff. ExxonMobil, high and tight. Somebody told me about shorting here, and I was like, please, for the love of God. And then it just went. I've said this 1,000 times. I think ExxonMobil makes a new high. If the market rallies, please do not be quick to short. Occidental. Buffett's probably like, come on, get back up into the 70s. I'll sell you some more calls. Same thing. EQT. talked about you could buy it yesterday. Congrats if you did. I mean, the stock doesn't look weak. Consolidation got added to some mid-cap ETFs, S&Ps. Comes back and finds support. Imagine that at where the volume is. Didn't have the most exciting candle today, but it is what it is. I mean, it's very logical to see why oil and gas action did what? Pulled these names down. Not surprised. All right, you got any questions, thoughts, concerns? If not, I'm going to shut it down. I'm going to stop the recording at the moment. We'll keep it open for a second, see what people got.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.